I'm so glad you're busy, friend.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. I'm your host, Dom, and we have an amazing guest this week. Look at you already ready because I'm here. I'm here. It's been a week.
Oh, friend,
It's
your cup is
Tuesday. Friend. We're gonna unpack it all. We're gonna unpack it all. We ain't gonna unpack your shit. Because this is about you. If you are watching or listening and that's a familiar voice to you, welcome back to the show, Chef Io Cherry. Brr, 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 brr. I just want to say, first of all, friend, you are, I don't think you know this because we're going to get into all of this when we talk about the amazing show that you were on the OWN network, the season finale. So that's a lot of pressure. But I just want to let you know that you are so pretty and so beautiful. I was like, look at my friend. She is like made for the TV and she don't even know it.
I,
Like I was just in awe of your beauty. I was like enamored. I was like all in your face on the TV.
oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
receive all of this.
Yeah, I'm glad you can receive it. It'd be hard for me to receive compliments.
It is
So
hard. I was about to say something, and then I was like, you know what? No, just receive it, because Jackie always saying that. She's like, just normalize, just saying yes. I am.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. We're gonna normalize saying yes. Guys, Io was on an amazing show called All the Single Ladies on the OWN network. The season finale premiered last Friday. And this show basically takes you through a journey of all these different women throughout their dating life. You know, things that have happened, things that they have learned, how they have persevered, how they have overcome. And what I've taken away from all these episodes is men ain't shit. Uh,
So, okay. That's
yeah,
I don't believe that.
you know, I'm not gonna. Okay, let me rephrase that because I don't believe that. As someone that is definitely tooken, I can't say that,
Excuse me?
huh?
You're what?
But it's been like that. I just don't be telling my business.
You're taken?
I've been in a relationship off and on for 6 years.
Oh, okay, that one. You've mentioned that. I just didn't know it was like an official thing again.
It's an official thing. I can't dump him no more. He told me I can't break up with him no more because he's not gonna take me back no more. So he put his foot down. But I was like, so you putting your foot down, I'm putting my foot down. That means act right. Show up and act right.
You
That's all. I don't require much. I don't.
you sick of your shit, friend.
Or I could have been sick of his, and so he needed to miss me. So I was like, time out, nigga.
If I need to pause to cut off some of these lights, can you just cut this?
Yeah, I can cut it afterwards because this is actually streaming live. So
Oh.
you could get up and continue to talk. But yes, this is streaming
I just
live.
I just keep looking at your screen. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And I'm like, mine is so bright. I just have on every light now. Well, my grow
You
light.
look. I can see you. So that's whatever you want to do. I think you look amazing. Like I see you. I feel you. There's an aura, yeah, around you.
Or plants, because these are my plant lights. So I'm like, it is like crazy bright in here right now.
I don't feel like that. It also could be the brightness on your computer, but that's if you want to turn them off, be my guest, turn them off or
I'm gonna
turn
turn off
something.
the one that's right above me because it is.
I feel like that's gonna mess it up. I wouldn't turn
You
that one
think
off.
so? Oh, I ain't mean to put my boobs in the camera, Lord.
You did. The titties are tittying
Always. I'm trying to
always.
protect you.
Man, we're not here to talk about my cleavage. We're talking about yours. I am covered today.
I know. What is
I'm
she?
wholesome. Girl, because I got on the gown.
Mm.
So, but yeah, so you're on this amazing show. And, each episode is a different subject. We talked the first episode, actually, Roxy is on it. And she's talking about like navigating dating out here, dating a broke guy. There are different women like that you meet. They've learned that they're the side chick. There are women dating. They have a full episode about black women dating interracially, that experience. And yours is like crazy because you guys talk about meeting these people and how it just fit like a hand in glove, and then things kind of start to unravel. And so I want to get into it. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your journey, the navigating dating to getting where you are today.
Mm-hmm.
And just any advice that you could probably give somebody. I think that dating has been super tough for women in our, and don't even be smart because I know it's coming.
I
Uh,
was strange. Go ahead. I was gonna let you live.
in our age bracket, because like so many of our girlfriends or women that we know are kind of having a hard time navigating the space. I had one of my homegirls on like 2 episodes ago, and she tells me the story about how she got unmatched on Hinge because a guy didn't like the painting that she did. And it's just a hobby, by the way. It's just a hobby. It was nothing that was said. They
How
both were talking about
tacky.
the girl. And so I even, told her some places where she could meet men. And you can tell us how you met your current guy, Gene.
I picked characters from Bob's Burgers, so I did Bob and Gene.
I was like,
Well, because
when
we
they
can't
showed
use
the picture, I was like, I was gonna text you, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
like that Negro name is not Gene.
that is not.
Say his
You
name.
don't even look like a Gene.
Damn sure don't. I say his name on I say his name on Instagram all the time. So
Yeah, you said it. I think you said it on here.
yeah, and when you tag him, his full name is on his Instagram. So it's like whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it was just really funny. So I wanna start the journey because you give the history of your dating life or how it begins. And I think a lot of dating kind of stems from what we see kind of emulated or lack thereof in our household. And so you tell us that your parents, you tell us how you were adopted and how you have all these strong women, and then you tell us that your parents got divorced when you were about 3 or 4 years old, and then it stems from there how you would date. So one thing that I think that they didn't really, what'd you say?
I said that's one word for it.
Oh, what would you what would you call it?
Prior to the relationship I discussed with Bob and my current relationship with Gene, I mean, I would describe what I was doing. I mean, can I curse?
You can curse, but I was gonna get there because I took
I would
notes.
more so describe what I was doing as fucking.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what you were doing. You were having fun.
yeah,
You were treating men sometimes how they treat us, like vessels. You were like, I'm here to do this and go on your way. But
yeah.
I was gonna say one thing because you gave so much praise to like your mom, your grandmother, your aunts that were around, and you were saying like how your grandmother really didn't date anybody, or at least that you saw, and the same thing, like you knew your mom was dating, but you would never see the person, which is very common in
Mhm.
households to like at least I know in our generation where our mothers did not have men coming in and out. We didn't know she was going on a date. We just know we got dropped off at somebody's house and they was going out to kick it, and that was it.
Grown,
But
grown folks' business. You don't.
yeah, I was trying to pry. I think it was one time, and I can vividly see it where a man stayed the night, and that was because my
Never.
mom's door was closed. Lucretia did not believe in closed doors.
Mhm.
When we moved, my door was taken off the hinges. Like I wasn't bad, but that's just what we did not do. We did not close doors in our house, and so I was gonna say after the divorce, did you have any like contact with your dad, or like did you guys
Yeah,
have a okay?
yeah.
Okay.
For well, to just put a note here because I don't want to forget this. Thank you for um thank you for texting me and telling me like you watched it, you liked it, and all those things. Because as a person who lived it, when I watched it, I think a lot of the girls were afraid of, what they said being portrayed. And after I watched mine, I was like, yeah, this is only like a quarter of what I said. So I didn't not like it or anything. I just bit my lip. I was just maybe that's the universe telling me shut my mouth, child. But I was usually like the entire time I was like, oh. I feel more than that. Like I thought it would have been more to it, but I understand obviously it's production. There's, we need to stay on
Yeah.
track, story to tell. ADD, mama loves a detour. So I get it. But I actually was like, I wonder if I got across anything. Like if a point got across.
No. Oh, we're gonna get into it because you got it across. I at least this episode, I could relate to every character, like each scene, each person, because there's something that happens. Like I could relate to the woman, who the guy had an aesthetic, but then it's like what, and then you see what happens, and then you're like what, or
Yeah.
even the girl that's like like bisexual or things are happening. I don't know what that's like because I don't. That's not my identity, but I could see how when she was dating me, how certain things were happening. But then also from the standpoint of having friends that do like that are queer and identify as like bisexual, hearing stories from them, so being understand what happens. That's why I was like, they ain't really getting your business how they should have, because I was
I
like,
said
oh,
it. I said it. It just didn't get added. I said it. I was like, I was dating. When I said I was having my hot girl summer, I said I was dating he, she, they, them, everybody. I was loving it.
they should have added that because that would have gave so much more
Context
insight.
to who I am for sure.
Right. And I think that's why I really took something away from your like story, because knowing your history, dating history, being able to say, oh, she really, really like she really liked this guy, because the stuff that Io has said, just even in joking.
Astonished.
Yeah. I was like, wow, well, we all have those stories that kind of shake us up a little bit, because I was like, wow, like and it took me a moment to kind of go back over like my dating life and kind of review different things, and then like wondering if you could have did something different. Maybe you should not have called them a Lawrence. Y'all, she called that man a Lawrence.
I still stand by that.
I'm not. I was like, damn, like
to me, that was more loving than just being like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. Like, I don't see you moving. And at that age, I just didn't have the language to express it. And I remember, and I know it's like a TV show or whatever, but I remember watching Insecure and being like, like that's it. That's what I feel. I feel like we're stagnant. Nothing's moving. But again, I was like 24. I don't have the language for that. All I know is I am trying to get somewhere. And for the first time in my life, I'm not just working in a restaurant or like trying to work my way up the line or work my way up to be executive chef or being paid like a sous chef and actually doing executive chef work. I'm not doing that. I'm making like all this money now. And I'm like, I have a real career now. And I'm like, oh, this is happening. And now I'm talking about moving across the country. And I don't just, at that time, I didn't know how to say, I don't just want a boyfriend. I want a partner. Like, I want you to be able to do this with me. Like, up until now, we've just been kind of like chilling, whatever. But like, I'm going, and this is my trauma. It's something I'm working on. But I overextend, and I'm like, I'm totally willing to pay for everything and take you with me. But like, I want to know that I'm doing it for a reason. And like, what idiot is turning down an all expense paid move to fucking Los Angeles?
You'd be surprised.
Like, he's not turning it down. So, like I said in the show, I basically backed him into a corner and was like, you want to stay together? You want to go to Los Angeles? You need a career. And that is, I mean, that's a lot to ask of a 24-year-old dude, too. Like, for the same age, or 25, however old we were at that time. Like, that's a lot to ask of someone that age. Like, sex be damned. So I don't fault him for being like, oh, I'm a photographer. And then all of a sudden he was a photographer. And I was like, cool, I'll buy you a laptop. I'll help you buy a camera. I'll do that. And I was very like in it. And, I don't think he did it with any malice or ill intent. He didn't know.
Yeah.
He was trying to be what he thought I needed. And I thought that's what I needed too.
Yeah. And sometimes when people don't have a sense of probably who they are, he probably wasn't sure fully of himself to even, because somebody else, like I know a lot of men that I can think of off the top of the list right now that wouldn't take up your offer because that's not their idea of like a partner being able to have a woman come and just do everything. It's like, how can they contribute as well? Because, like you said, it's a partnership. But then I know a couple people that potentially would. But, I think what we learned too is that, in order for you to really, really probably level up, you had to, everything had to happen.
It had to happen. And
It
I
had to
have
happen.
no ill will. Ooh, that's not true.
Yeah.
I have a certain level of empathy for every step in that relationship. And
Yeah.
I also take full responsibility of my part in our relationship. Like, we were both very young. Like,
Yeah.
we were together 7 years. We got together when we were 23. We were children. And then we moved across the country and turned 30. And it's like, we're vastly different people now. And, we couldn't survive the growing pains. And that's okay. It
Yeah.
is okay. When I think to the person he is now, that person and I would never have made it together.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead, Free.
No, I can't. So when I moved to LA, I was 22. I had a boyfriend that I had been dating for about like 5 years. So like, was like what, like 19, and it was things that was probably happening prior. And actually, there were things that happened prior where I knew that this was not my person.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that at some point, and I interviewed him and we talked about it. And I told him, I was like, I knew at this age, but then part of me and my personality, I thought that it was me trying to like run away. It was me being bored. It was me, like just trying to push through, because I know relationships sometimes can have those moments where it's just a little dry and you're trying to figure out how to make it interesting again and whatnot. And so I probably stayed longer than I should have.
For sure.
But, and so when I moved here, I knew that it was an out. And there was something, like similar, like how you said, like wanting to go through a phone, checking phones, and that's not me. Even to this day, I feel like if I get that feeling where I need to go through your messages or something, I leave, because that's not me. Because if my intuition is telling me something, it exists and I'm not making it up.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree, and I'm only saying I disagree because once I got with Gene / Edward, his actual name, my current boyfriend, once we got together, I still had those pangs of like, oh, let me check it just to be sure. And it's not that he was doing anything. It's because that was my trauma from what I had been through prior.
Correct.
And it had gone on so long. And I had found things in his phone, not once, not twice, but 3 times, which is also interesting that on the show it seems like there was this one situation. I had been cheated on 3 times, emotionally all 3 times. And well, the first one was more like sexting, whatever. Anyway, he was 24. Who cares? But like, it had been 3 times that this had happened, and so little by little, I was like breaking into this becoming a habit. And every time I looked, I found something. So it's like you're kind of, rewarding, not rewarding this behavior every time I exhibit it. I find something, and now it's like, oh, see, I knew you were lying, but like I ain't going nowhere. So what reason is there for you to stop lying? All I'm doing is showing you that you can do what you want. And if I find out, because God knows he didn't do a good job hiding it, but if I found out that all I was gonna do was bitch and moan and cry and complain, and you could send me text messages of 100 reasons why you love me or something innocuous like that, and
Is that what was happening?
He did it the last time.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was the one I talked about on the show. He did it that time. And, that kind of stuff makes you feel so loved and cherished at that age. And it's like, okay, he does love me. He just made a mistake. Because I hear a lot of women talk about like, oh, why did I stay? Why did I stay? But I know why I stayed, because I am vehemently against this idea. And I know you're probably going to give me some pushback, but like, we kind of don't treat men like they're people. Like, we treat them like they're just a wallet socially a lot, specifically Instagram, online, Black Twitter. Like it's like he need to be able to pay for this and he need to pay for that and he need to do this and he better be doing that. And like, oh, if a man ain't taking, I ain't splitting bills for no man. You not my roommate. Like I have a friend who says that. Like if you ain't split, I'm not splitting bills with a man. He's not my roommate. And while each woman totally do what you want in your household, however, how is splitting your living space making him a roommate? Like he's not your dad. And I do believe that they have a right to like fuck up. And I know a lot of times women we're kind of taught to like throw out the baby with the bathwater, like, oh, this ain't right, get out. Cause it's like one or the other. There's very little middle ground. We either be like deuces at the first sign of anything we don't like or the first inkling to go through their phone, we throw them out, or you stay far too long and then you end up on a TV show like my ass. So it's like, what's the in between? But there's no in between. Like maybe you just legally sick of it.
Okay, so I would, yes, I can agree that there are people that treat men like a wallet.
Yes.
I can agree that I am not splitting rent with a man because I can do bad by myself. No, I'm gonna tell you why. I can do bad by myself.
And
When it comes to no, and I'm gonna explain why.
okay.
I feel that if I'm living with a person, and if I've worked so hard to get to where I am. It's one thing. Now, I'm not gonna say like I understand, like you said, like the Lauren situation. I understand that people fall in love with potential. I've been that girl. I also was that girl when I lived in St. Louis. LA, the rent is too high. The things are too high. You know, I will say this. Like you said, you have to do what works for you. And
sure.
But how I was raised, you know, I can, like, you can cover the mortgage and I can contribute to the household in other ways. Like I don't have a problem like paying, you know, like bills or anything like that where, hey, this is my bill. If the lights get cut off, it's my fault, you know, grocery, like different things like that.
That's not what I'm talking about though. So maybe I should clarify. I have,
but I'm gonna tell you right now.
Nothing. They don't want to pay for nothing. They don't.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't. But that's me though.
That would be nice, but that is not realistic. Statistically, it is unrealistic for everybody with a vagina to be like, I ain't paying for nothing. But then you don't want to be infantilized. You don't want to be talked down to and all that. And I'm like, we got to draw a line. And I'm not coming down on women because, as I said on the show, I think women are the shit, honestly. Still surprised I ended up with a man. Like, shocked. I was doing my best not to, Dom. You know I was.
Because here's the thing. Okay, first of all, let's be real about women. Let's be real about ourselves. You know how it is. Like, you are a woman. We be doing too much and not enough at the same time sometimes.
I agree. But I think we're so hard on each other. There's just hard on each other.
And like you said, you're speaking from a place of like what happened in your relationship for trauma. For me, I don't want to feel like I can't trust my partner because I'm an Aquarius. I know how my mind wanders, and then I start creating scenarios and I start thinking about certain things. And I will tell you that you did something and you didn't do nothing. So I don't want to. If you give me the opportunity, if you give me an inch, I'm taking a motherfucking mile.
There's a diagnosis for that.
Yeah. So I just, you know, honestly, I just think that when it comes to dating and relationships, like, but also I am very well aware, Ayo, that I have been afforded an opportunity that many women dream of when it comes to dating.
For sure.
So I understand that men, and it's not that I'm on a sugar baby website. Those are the type of men that gravitate toward me, and they don't want me to pay for anything.
But see, that's different. I'm not saying
that's different, but I've gotten used to that. Your
man has the means, like, to be like, I got it, because I feel like most heterosexuals, specifically Black, because I've just never dated anybody else. Okay. Most heterosexual Black men who have the means be like, no, baby, I got it. You good? Yeah, I got it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everybody else. Yes. Because the amount of outcry you hear for that type of man does not match statistically the type of the amount of men that are available to do it.
Yeah,
The people I'm listening to, you know.
yeah, I think what's happening, I will say this because especially now that we have women, black women that are, like becoming millionaires at younger ages, and even, even black men creating this lane. I feel like there's this microscope on dating when it comes to us. And when people want to have certain conversations, I tell them, I was like, I get what you're saying, but I can't relate because that's not my life.
Mhm.
And the people, like, I think about our circle of friends, we don't talk about certain things. Like, I've never had a conversation with you or Jean or Tahir or Farron about dating, like in the sense of splitting bills, what people bring to the table. So it's
Oh,
foreign to me because people
yeah.
see, we see each other as human beings, not what we can do for each other. Yes, we understand that we will do for each other, but
Absolutely.
it's not the end all be all for us. Like, we're not trying to diminish people to like vessels or anything.
Yeah.
So we see people
Yeah.
as human beings.
Yeah. And maybe I'm just looking at the rhetoric I see online as being one dimensional.
Mhm.
Like maybe what I'm hearing from women is like they want a partner, which is what I said. They want a partner, but instead I think the language used comes off as like, oh, you gotta be like, I mean, I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen like interviews online, like, oh, my man gotta be making $250,000 a year. Well, what do you do? I'm a cashier at Target, and there's nothing wrong being a cashier at Target, and there's nothing wrong being a cashier at Target if you got a man who can sustain that. But I think realistically speaking, if you are not already in circles where that's normal, then like that's not who you gonna get. Who you probably gonna get is Tommy who cashiering across the street from you, and that's cool. Like y'all in the same boat.
Yeah. I don't think people understand the concept of being equally yoked. Like, I am still a huge component of that.
Yeah.
I like when you say you want a partner, and I understand that relationships have highs and lows. I understand that, especially for certain men that are entrepreneurs. I'm understanding how work is kind of like the priority, because if you want all of this stuff, you want to be able to do this and do that, and you want me to provide it, like, I gotta get to it.
Yeah.
So at some point it's like a partner making a sacrifice. And it's new to me because I've dated, the majority of all my relationships in LA have been men that are entrepreneurs, but I've been, dating them later in life where they probably had another partner that they, that broke up with them because of time.
Very busy. Yeah, they
You
didn't
know,
have time.
and so it's like I'm trying to figure out how I go out of town like tomorrow night. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get my dog to him because he's like, shoot, I have to go to my grow. I have to do this and I have to do that. He's like, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay, we will figure it out. But I could also drop her. I could drop her to your, but whomever else. But she just has to
Put
be.
your dog in an Uber pet.
That dog costs too much to be doing that. So absolutely not. And that is my baby.
Steal your dog friend.
Baby, that is my this is my practice to become a mother. Okay.
Ew.
I ain't had no sleep. But I saw it's understanding and compromising, but I think that people have to kind of realize if it's certain things that you want, it comes with the leveling up. And while I get what Kevin Samuels and people that subscribe to that, but it goes back to what we were talking about, because that's what he was telling women. No. I wasn't watching, but the hot clips I was seeing.
I was like, I need to.
Oh no! I wasn't a patron of that, but like certain clips will go viral. But it wasn't what he was saying that was necessarily wrong. It was how he was saying and talking to people, and that was messed up because the message would get lost. Like when he told
the message got lost in the messenger, basically.
Yeah, the message would get lost in the tone.
I
How he would talk to men and women. I didn't like how he talked to anybody.
Yeah, I can't comment on that because everything I've seen him say is atrocious. So I can't. I don't know. And I'm not going to act like I did a deep dive because mostly I was disgusted and astonished every time I saw a video by that man. But also, I'm from the South, so I know those people exist. So I'm just like, hey, somebody uncle done got into the liquor cabinet tonight. It's fine. And I move on. I don't.
Yeah. It's really interesting because, when we think about dating, and I think about things that I've even manifested, or rooms to even be in, when we think about, dating and relationships, or, even being like open and receptive to the love that I want, might not show up how, or what I would think, because I'm like you. I always wanted to, like, I was like so black, and wanting the black kids, and wanting to date a black man. But those first, whew, I've been in LA like 13 years. And so those first like 6 years, 6, 7 years, I was in an interracial relationship, because
Mhm.
those were the only men that would kind of talk to me and date me.
Mhm.
And so I think it's all a process, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the girl with the biracial kids, just
Yeah.
like everybody else in my family.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I personally don't have that experience. I feel like a conversation I recently had actually with someone at Kevin Stage Studios, that being from the South, my blackness is very like it's very like here, like it's very like I can't. That is something I can't compromise or discuss with. Like this is not something I care to explain to my partner, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's anything wrong with anyone doing it, as long as you leave those who ain't doing out of it, specifically, black men that don't like black, yada yada. Leave the rest of us out of your choice, but choose who you want. Just leave the rest of us out of it. But I can't. I can't on that end. And I think being Southern is part of that, because that's just much less common in the like South areas. Because, our white people are the January 6th white people. Like, our white people are the hard ER white people. Like,
Yeah.
all, but a lot. Like, and it's just like, eh, that it would be it would be more of a jump where I'm from. Whereas like LA, everywhere, all the time, and I'm like, okay, that's your vibe. I get it, but I can't. I don't know. I'm not even. I remember when they were interviewing me, and they was like, "Oh, have you ever been a white man?" I was like, "No, I'm not even. I can't. I have been in a sexual situation with one white man, and it was not a pleasant experience."
Baby, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
Honestly, one of them, I'm gonna be honest, one of them, I forget that they're white. And another one, it was like, like, but I was like that. So I'll tell you, like, so when I graduated high school, there was a guy that was like super, super cute. And we were going on a date. He was a white guy. Up to this point, I never really even conversed with like white guys outside of school. He was attracted to me. I was attracted to him, and we were going on a date. This nigga this Yankee Anglo-Saxon got pulled over
Yankee
on the way to my house and ends up in jail. And I was like, see, God said, baby, stay where you are. And I was like, cool.
Oh, he's in jail.
I think they had weed, and they like him and this guy. We were going on a double date. We were supposed to go on a double date because they called me. They called, and I was like, "Why you calling me? Call me. What I'm gonna do? Like, I know my mama a lawyer, but what? Like, I can't vouch for you. I don't know you." So I chilled, but then when I came to LA, like when I tell you, for the most part, when I say my interracially, I don't mean like white. I had a Persian boyfriend, Italian, Portuguese.
Oh, my white guy was Italian.
Yeah, mine was an Italian soap star, girl.
Italian what?
Soap star. He was on Days of Our Lives. I think he was on Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we had fun until he got mad at me and he broke up with me, but didn't tell me that he broke up with me because I didn't call him when I said I was gonna call him, but he knew where I was. I don't know what the big deal was, but whatever. You're only child and you were spoiled. It's okay.
Oh, whoa. First of all, relax on the only child slander.
I said what I said.
Being spoiled is not a negative.
It's not a negative. I'm spoiled. But I wasn't. Girl, listen. It was just really strange when it happened. I was like, so we broke up for real? Like I was calling.
He was like, "No, girl, I told you we're done."
He didn't say that though. He said, when you tell somebody you should call, you should call. But he knew where I was. I stayed the night at his house. I went to work. He knew I was going to Universal Studios Horror Nights. So I don't know what I said. Well, I said I was gonna call you later. I didn't mean literally. You
Now
doing
women
too
are
much.
trash.
That's what I mean. Doing too much and not enough at the same damn time.
Okay.
You laughing? I'm serious.
I don't think that one is on you, friend. He sounds a little bit unhinged.
Listen, I was singing Keisha Cole. I remember when my heart broke. Girl.
Not in the mic. That's hilarious.
Sad and lonely.
Okay. Turn up.
Girl. But so yeah, like the relationship that I'm in, this is for real, my only Black relationship out here.
I mean, it's also the area, you know.
Yeah, Tahir finally met him. And I was like, see, I told you he real.
And here's an asshole, so I'm sure that was a fun meetup for you.
It was when he came to bring me the puppy. Actually, he and Tahir was over in Evelyn. So yeah, and
I love Evelyn.
I love Evelyn, right? She loves you, by the way.
I just met Evelyn New Year's. Well,
yeah,
we met at our, like, you know, the private thing or whatever. But
yeah,
New Year's we were talking and I was like, I love it.
She loves you. Like I want to put it on the record.
Yeah, Instagram, like, girl, you funny. She's like, girl, you funny. I'm like, no, girl, you funny.
Yes, my Libra bae is what I call her because she's
my best friend. My ex is also a Libra, but from what I hear, Libra men are trash. So I'll think that. Anyway,
and I'm just gonna smile because one of the stories I was thinking, okay, because like I know we talked about. You know, he's like, oh, I gave the producer. I was like, what story would I tell? Do I tell the Libra story?
Oh, so many.
Do I tell the Cancer story?
I told so many. And you know me, I'm an open book. So I gave them all of it. I was like, oh, let's get into it. And the crazy thing is, and you're my friends, so I'm going to say this here, because I know we have to do like other interviews about the show and after the show, but you're my friends. I'm going to say it's here. Where I was when we filmed was so we had been in a mutual friend's wedding. We had like a 3-hour conversation. I was in a very zen place with the ending of the relationship. Hadn't thought about Buddy in weeks. And then he sent me an email to let me know, mind you, I'm in a whole other relationship. Like we're done. To let me know that he and someone I had previously referred to as my best friend had taken their relationship to a new level.
This is that one? Yo.
After 7 years of being together and ending in, you know, whatever fashion, we talked for 3 hours in Miami. And now that it happened, it struck me as strange that what's his name on the show? Bob kept double checking that so you have a like legitimate boyfriend. I was like, yeah, I am fully in a relationship. He's like, I didn't expect you to be with a light-skinned nigga this soon. And I was like, I didn't expect, that's what he said. And I was like, I didn't expect to be in a relationship this soon either, but like it just
like,
and he's great and he's 6'5". Like
we love Gene.
We love Gene. Girl, we love Ed. We love Ed. All 6'5", light skin, big booty Ed. Okay. My man is great. Everyone loves him. He is a fantastic. I made such a good choice.
You did. Well,
he made such a good choice because he chose.
Ed kind of look like my daddy.
He chose.
And I was like, why does this man look familiar? And I kind of have a little rancor in my soul. But then I was like, oh, it's my dad.
He chose me and I was just chosen and I was like, oh, this is happening. Like, yeah, he is amazing. But
But
He
doesn't
was,
that feel good to feel chosen?
yes.
I feel so good.
I think I hear a lot of women talk about, to put a pause on the story, I hear a lot of women talk about after a long relationship, the first one is the hardest, the first one after, because you feel, you get all these warm, fuzzy feelings you didn't get before. And I remember Farron and Tahira were like, if you really like this guy, you need to be careful because you don't want it to be a rebound situation. Like, is it one of those, like, you just need to feel good things? Because if so, like, y'all are flying a little close to the sun if it's that. And I was like, I think I love him. Like, and I was like,
You
it was very, yes, it happened fast. But I've never had a man. Ed is younger than me. Ed is
really?
Ed is all of 29 years old, girl. Ed,
Girl, what's up with the
when we
29 year
met,
olds?
when we met, Ed was 27. I know. And I was 30, but
Your old ass, as you say.
but your mother, for Ed to,
I'm sharing this with her.
don't you tell Lucretia what I said. For Ed to come in and just be like, hey, you were in a relationship for 7 years. That's crazy. You should be dating. See what's out here, do your thing. Because when you do choose me, I wanted to be because I was the right choice, not because I was the only one here. So he's like, date, do your thing. But he was like, I've been single for 2 years. I want you, and I'm willing to kind of see this out until you figure out, how you feel and where you want to go. So I'll be here, do your thing. And I was like, I will, in these streets, hot girl summer, in these streets, girl. That shit lasted one date. I think I faked the funk for like 2-3 weeks. Like, oh, well, I was talking to this guy. I think I faked the funk for a little while. Girl, I went on a total of one date from the day that man told me that. And I texted him the entire day.
I don't know. First of all, like I said, I'm a stan. I love both of y'all. Like, and I feel like I know Ed, but I don't know him.
He's
But
very
from what I
Ed is a
see,
super introvert, and you
yeah,
got
but from what I see, he's like mad cool and like I can see how you really really care about him and love him, and I see y'all together and I just be like, I love y'all. I love my new friends, and y'all, I know Drake be like, no new friends, but I'm like, screw that, new friends, because friends that are like-minded, that are equally yoked, that also is important in friendships. And so I love y'all. I tell Farron that all the time. I'll be crying talking about y'all.
No.
I'm not doing that today.
Oh.
But no, I'm forever grateful for, like having y'all in my life, because like knowing that I'm on the right path, and seeing things that can happen, and even career wise, like I've been following Jackie for years, and I'm like, my friend is her chef. Or I was like, when she was on the show, the real, comedians of, social media,
So she did it when she did the show with Tahir and Kev.
Baby, I was like, those are my friends. And like, so I be so proud of y'all. I'm like a mama bear. I'll be like proud. But then I have to take a moment and take a step back and just even be proud of me. While I'm like enjoying, other people just being able to hone in on what everybody is doing. And so it's just like really dope. And so even like now I'm working part-time for Pat, and like learning stuff. He's like, whatever you want to learn, I'm gonna tell you.
Working with Patricia, girl.
I'll be working with Patricia, and sometimes it's a headache, but I love my boy.
Do you go to Patricia's house?
I know. Yeah, I've been to Patricia's house.
Girl, Patricia lives next door to me.
Patricia, I know.
Next to my building. You gotta come by.
Literally, he don't know, but that's gonna be my summer house because he has a pool. And I know you don't be big on things like that, but you're gonna get over it. I don't do hot tubs and things like that. I'm like, girl, come to the barbecue.
Sorry, I like my pH balance the way it is.
Listen,
I'm not interested in
put some boric acid up there and keep it moving.
Don't be trying to make me boil my coochie.
No, it's oh baby, it's life changing. It's
No,
life
I
changing.
go to I get in the hot tub when we all go on vacation and stuff because it's like far and
Yeah.
between. But I feel like during the summer, it'd be every other weekend. Somebody's like, "We got a house, hot tub." Da, da, da. I'd be like, "Okay, you guys, make it."
You know, I'm just here to like to soak it all in because like I even a conversation I had one of my really good friends Sunday, which reminds me I have to text Kendra. And so because I saw Kendra Sunday and Carter and his little baby lying and it was so cute.
At the concert, did you see him at the concert?
No, they came to my friend Ty and Rania's house. Their daughter turned 2, and so their friend is a mutual friend of
Kendra,
Kendra. And so Kendra, they needed more kids, so Kendra bought
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah, my little Cartemus.
And so like even talking to him, he was just like, "Why did you never mention that to me?" Or
He's so cute. I'm sorry.
Carter's amazing.
So much. He's so cute.
But you know, like everything happens. It goes back to like even your relationship, just being able to speak to or your previous relationship and to speaking to where you are now, and just knowing that like what God has for you is for you, and you learn like so much. And I understand like heartbreak had to come with that, and it sucks. But like that was how many years ago?
What, that we broke up?
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, but 2 seems close, but it is far.
It feels close because at this point, me and Ed have been together a year. I met Ed 3 months out of this relationship. 3.
Oh wow.
So I was so not trying to. I didn't want to accept that I had these feelings because I just knew it was like false, you know.
Yeah.
And I was doing like I was in therapy extensively. I think I was probably the only person I knew that was going to therapy like 2-3 times a week. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do we get here? Who even am I? Why am I so insecure? Why am I not? I don't know who I am anymore. Why do I not feel like myself? Like I was so lost once I got, and I get from the outside looking in, everyone's like, but you got this beautiful apartment. You just got a car. I said in the show, I think I flipped my entire life in like a week.
Yeah.
My mom was here that night. He decided to lose his mind and not come home. And now I got to explain to her after I talked to you, like, what the fuck? Why didn't you come home?
Yeah.
She me like, yeah, what the fuck? Why he didn't come home? Because she was staying in the house with us. So there was a lot of just things that happened that made the experience very negative. And my mother started packing my shit before she left town. Like that is how bad it was.
Don't you love black mamas? Because like that's how my mama is. But I also it's funny because like talking to like watching your episode and many of the women talk about how they felt like, and look who's calling now, he calling, and
come on, babe.
And so tell and how they lost their way, how they didn't feel like themselves. Because like I know you, and so listening to that, I'm shocked because, and I think, but it goes back to kind of what you said. Our mothers, we didn't really see them. We saw them be more independent. It's more of a survival tactic as well. Because like my mom, my life, like my bio mom, I passed away. I was 6 months. We live with Lucretia. That's my mom. That's all I know. So, hearing her stories, like I was married and divorced by the time I was 22, and like getting like insight to what happened, and just like I get why you move like this. I understand why you're giving us the dating advice that you're giving us
for who they are.
Yeah. And just preparing us to always be self-sufficient. So, it's like that you remember when Tony left Todd on Girlfriends and she had a rainy day account and they were asking her how much money was in this account, and she had like I think she had like 50 grand in this account. But that's how our mothers tell us, because they have experienced so much heartbreak and they don't want to see us go through that. So for us to even be vulnerable in a sense, it kind of it's hard because we're like, dang, like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
The one thing I have now, wait, I'm sorry, did I cut you off, friend?
Oh no.
The one thing I have now that I will say I never saw for myself is I understand what it means to feel safe enough to be soft.
Yeah.
I I think I had like this very like gruff, hard persona in my prior relationship. And like he knew my more emotional side, obviously, but like I didn't show it much or like it took a
Mhm.
lot for me to get that comfortable. And now I be crying all over the place. I am just a puddle of like love. I am pudding. I'm just like I'm so soft and like malleable in so many more ways. And I think it's because like when I come home or when he calls and when I'm with him, like I am this is my safe space. Like I don't have to do anything. I am taken care of. Like this is my person. This is my space. And it it was shocking to me to be able to feel like that. And for a long time, I questioned it because I thought I was using it as a band aid. And I was like,
Yeah.
and what changed it was I told him that exact thing. As
Yeah.
we went through it, he knew where I was. He knew that we had just gone through this relationship. I have had countless conversations with this man dissecting the like minutia of my last relationship. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I did this and I did, and he's up for it. He wants to hear it. And I've even had very close friends be like, I think you should stop talking to him about like that. Like that's weird. But he's like, I want you to get it out because I don't want you to hold it in. I don't want it to get worse. So
Yeah.
just get it out. And if I'm the person here, cool. If you want to talk to your friends, cool. But he's like, just let that shit out because you
Yeah.
have to process it. And I thank him endlessly for that because he was just like, yeah, let's get
Some
it out.
people get scared when they hear those things.
For him to understand the day my ex felt the need to email me and tell me that his new girlfriend was someone who was my old sous chef and best friend, like one of the first friends I made when I moved here. So we were super close for like 5 years, girl. But for him to send me a message and tell me that was his partner, and for me to like cry my eyes out for days because I was just so pissed. Like, why would you tell me that? Like, why did I need to know that? And for
Because he was intentionally trying to hurt you because you had moved on with your life and
but
he
it
was
took
a
me so long
non-factor.
to get there, right? It took so long to get there because I was like, did I deserve that? Like, I was happy. And like you just said, like he knew that. He was like, you're
He
happy.
knew that.
And he was like, oh, well, I'm happy too. And it's like, you had to be happy with this bitch. And also, like, does your new girlfriend know you double checked that I wasn't available to get back with you before you came home and made that decision? But okay. Like, I just, and does your new girlfriend know that everyone in your family still hits me up like, oh, you'll always be my niece? And I'm like, nah, girl, that's not how this works. We are separated.
We are done.
Like me and the family, not me and him. He's a ghost to me. Like, a ghost whenever I see his name. Like, he's a ghost to me. But
Yeah.
with with his family, I'm like, because they knew that like my intention was to love you. However, I will say on my end of things to take accountability on my side, when I think about the way I spoke to him and I think about the day to day of our relationship, and now looking at how me and Ed communicate in the day to day of our relationship, I was out of that relationship emotionally years before it ended. Like
Yep.
the when I found out about the I think the infidelity I talk about on the show with the like 19, 20-year-old girl he was talking to, when I think about that, that was the last straw for me. But I very clearly remember, because I'm a Capricorn, a lot of that decision was financial. Because as I talked to my best friend slash my ex best friend slash his new girlfriend, when I was at her house following that infidelity, I was like, we had just moved to LA. I put all my money in taking this chance. I was like, this is my one shot. I'm gonna see if I can do something here. Like I like it here, whatever. And I had nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
Kick him out of this apartment.
Mm-hmm.
He's not leaving. Like I'm the one who left. He's not leaving. And you know, we make these, and he's like, he's trying. He texts me 100 reasons why he loves me. He's trying. That's effort. That's gonna make a change. And he paid for us to get a therapist. And I was like, okay, he's
Mm-hmm.
me. So he's like sinking resources into this, and we're trying to make it work, and we're in couples therapy. But the reality of it is, like, it just wasn't going to work. And I was too young and too inexperienced to attempt to get over something as deep as an infidelity. That when I'm on TikTok and I see the women who get over it, depending on how it goes down, I don't know how you do it because I could not. I
I
internalized it.
couldn't. I know my personality.
I
I
can't.
could not because I be wondering, like, I get that I had to lean in. Beyonce like didn't leave. So because I was like, do people not leave because Beyonce didn't leave Jay-Z? But like it's a whole different dynamic. But if this is true, because we only know what they're telling us, and this could all be a dream that they're telling us in a story, and we don't know what's the reality. And I know she said in Vogue magazine that, her mom being cheated on, I think her grandmother was cheated on. It's like a rite of passage, right? Yeah. Oh, this isn't slander. So this is questions. So I'm like wondering, do people not leave because it's like, well, Beyonce didn't leave Jay Z. So I'm like, but your nigga not Jay Z, but whatever. But I know my personality, and I know that I'm like, does Beyonce still check Jay Z phone? Is she checking his email? Is something being swept? Does he know? And but you see how my mind is wondering. This is why I can't stay,
Yeah.
because my mind does
I
stuff like
don't
that.
I don't know, but I will. I don't condone any Beyonce slander. I'm a member of the
No, it's
Beehive.
not slander. This is a
Proud
question.
and card
I've met Beyonce several times, so I'm like, I'm
proud and
wondering.
card carrying member of the Beehive. But I will say I've seen women be able to do it, and it does come down to the details, right? Like if it was a one-time thing, like I was in a situation, I was drunk as hell, like, and I smashed, and it was not her, but like a different girl you never met, and you regretted it, and you called me and told me, I could get over that. I'll be honest, like I can get over that because to me that's more desire than like malice. You weren't the emotional thing. This was every day. This was in my face. And to be honest, again, how you said your mind wanders, I went back through the messages and I checked the dates because I'm like, where was I? Like, what was
Mhm.
I doing on this day? And I mentioned being adopted in the show. And the weekend that I believe their relationship reached like some sort of climax, the girl I talk about in the show, the 19-year-old or 20, yeah, the 2019, 2021, I don't know, somewhere in there, the very young girl, when their relationship reached some kind of climax was the weekend I was meeting my birth parents for the first time. And to me,
Okay,
I
we gotta
should
throw hands, Ayo. I'm sorry. The St. Louis in me is coming out. We gotta throw hands. It's only right.
I should have left them because for a story that I would tell another day, definitely not this episode. That was easily one of, if not the hardest weekend of my life. There was a week where I flew to Florida to meet my birth father, who turned out to not be what we thought he was. And then to meet my birth mother. And within the course of that, 5 days to a week, that was when he had freedom to just have girls over to the house and tell them about how he was moving to LA for his career and to get his career off the ground and to take credit for all these things that I had set in motion for us. And the fact that, and I don't take any issue with her, because you had to be 19 to go to that house and think that it was only a single guy living there. Like, you don't know no better. And
Yeah.
also, why, if y'all weren't being physical, why were you at the house? And I only know they weren't physical because of a message she sent about not feeling comfortable to take it there yet, which good for her. But
Yeah.
also, you know,
You still engaged with the man that was married.
and
Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
it was, I mean,
Sorry. It's a cut
and
water.
maybe she knew he had a girlfriend. She didn't care.
Yeah.
My issue, I take no issue with her because she doesn't owe me anything. And she's
Yeah.
19. She was going through her own shit. Like, whatever, she doesn't owe me anything. But to be able to do that on a weekend where I think that was probably the first time I turned my phone off for a couple of days at a time. Like I couldn't function. I think that's probably the first time I experienced real like deep depression because again the situation with the guy we thought was my birth father was just very tumultuous. Like it was very weird. And I flew my happy ass in Orlando thinking it'll be fine by myself. Like whole
You're
host
brave. You're
whole host
brave.
of bad decisions. I didn't tell anybody because I
Okay.
didn't want to talk about it because it was a lot. And I was like, okay, well, let's just figure it out. And yeah, I just to be able to do that on a weekend where I was going through that
That's messed
was
up.
a lot for me. And I should have recognized it when it happened.
Yeah.
And instead, I kept quote unquote fighting and figuring out that was when we first moved to LA, like the first year. I've been here 5 years now. Oh no, I've been here almost 6 years now. Like I've been here for a while, and yeah, we continued for like another 3 years after that. And you you emotionally disconnect way before you actually disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just know that you have done a complete 180 and you're in a happy, loving relationship. Your career is thriving. And it's like, Sir Bob, whoever you are, you had a good thing and you'll never have anything better than that.
Oh,
So,
she's definitely not better. I'm sorry.
yeah, and that's just how it is. But, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can subscribe to your page, your plant life, because I need you to nurture Penny back to life. I did stuff that you told me to do. She's still good. She's still living. She's still
Is that my
thriving.
baby guy? Oh, okay.
Penny's not dead. Penny's named after my bio mom. That was her nickname, Penny. And so I try to talk to her, but I don't know if she needs to be replanted, like repotted.
I don't think we're supposed to do it while it's cold. I'll get back to you on that, but I usually try not to when it's like winter, fall, whatever. I try to
Yeah,
wait. I
I
like
don't think she does. I don't think she does, but that's what my big sister said. But I just repotted her last
I
year,
was
so
like, you spotted her first time we talked about it. I don't think it's time. It shouldn't be
yeah,
time.
yeah, it's not time. So she's still growing, but I'm just trying to get her the most light. My light broke, so I got to buy her a new light.
Need a new light, but also it's winter, girl, and they just be going through it in the winter.
Okay, all
I got,
right. Penny, I
I
love
got.
you. I want you to know that.
They
You're
just be
my
going through it in the winter. Like it's cold. There's less sunlight. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 grow lights over my plants right now, and still like the cold air is a thing. And like I'm not leaving the heat on for y'all niggas all day.
It'd be hot.
Yeah.
I'll leave it on in here, but I have to have my door closed. Like I don't have central heating and cooling, so she good out here in the living room space,
Oh,
dining room space, and I just need it cool in my room because I can't do it. The night
the thing about having a unit though, if I turn the heat on, and I got a loft, it's wide open. So if I turn the heat on, we all got to be hot for my plants to be comfortable. We're not doing that.
Yeah, no, we're not doing
it. Be cold in here, so it's a whole thing, girl.
We's not doing that. But I appreciate you coming on so much, and I definitely want to circle back to hear the story about meeting your bio parents because it's a lot there, and I'm just really proud of you, friend. It was amazing. I was like watching. I was like, look at my friend, and
Yeah.
just being able to have that. Like that moment, because I'm pretty sure that also within being vulnerable, it was also probably a certain amount of healing that came for you as well.
Girl, listening to the other women's, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine.
Other women's stories, I was like, oh, I'm not alone. We all go through bullshit. And it made me, once it was over, like once the series finished airing and I saw my episode, and I was like, oh, okay. Like we're good. Like we're good. I held a lot of malice about it for a while, and like I mean to this day kick rocks till your toes bleed, but I'm not angry anymore. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, past them on the street, I would literally act like I don't know them and just keep walking.
All right. Well, I love you and I'm proud of you, and the best is yet to come. And thank you so much for being here, and we will see y'all next week.
Whiskey